YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. This is going to be an interesting one here. I'm predicting every starting quarterback for every NFL team for the 2021 season here, and at this way too early stage. Some of them are pretty obvious. We'll go through those very quickly right away. I went a little bold here at towards the end. I went pretty bold. We'll see if it happens. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All kinds of offseason content already on the channel. We're getting ready for free agency. Gonna have all kinds of what teams should do, what I think they will do. Predictions, everything. We got you. I grade every single free agency signing, cover trades, grade trades, draft, full content. We got you. More NFL content than anybody. So subscribe. Check out that Twitter. It's a must follow. Anything you hear me say on here, I say it first on Twitter. Breaking news, everything. Check out that Sided app, link in the description comments. You talk football and you win Amazon gift cards. Pretty cool. Yeah, here's the Twitter. Talking about all kinds of stuff here. Russell Wilson nonsense. He's not getting traded, by the way. Orlando Brown might get traded. Carson Wentz. We talk about all of it. All of it on the Twitter. Yeah, the obvious ones. I guess I now could have put Russell Wilson with the other group of guys that weren't that obvious, I guess. I even have obvious guys. It's obvious. It's Russell Wilson's still obvious to be back. And there's ones that are in the next group that are pretty obvious as well, but we're building up some suspense here. Brady's going to be back with the Buccaneers. Yeah. Mahomes, Lamar, all these guys you see listed here, they will be the starting quarterback for their team. They will be back. Very obvious. And this one is obvious as well, but there was some talk about Aaron. As soon as the Packers lost, as soon as they lost to the Buccaneers, people legit were freaking out. Like, it was ridiculous. And I tweeted something that I would eat my underwear if he wasn't the starter of the Packers next year, or wasn't on the Packers next year. So I knew that wasn't happening, that he wasn't going elsewhere. Rodgers would be the Packers starter. End of story. I think his comments basically were saying that he was a little upset that, other guys won't be back to experience, where they want to be, the free agents basically. So I thought people overreacted and took that the wrong way. I don't know. Yeah, Kirk Cousins will be back in the Vikings. There's been rumors that the Niners have made the call and have been interested, and, people saying that's not true. Then people are saying no, but it is true. Who knows? The Niners might be interested. Shanahan was interested in the past. I don't think it will take more than his value for the Vikings to get rid of him. They like Cousins a lot. They have a specific scheme in place, ready to roll. That Kirk Cousins fits specifically. They love the way he played at the end of last year. I mean, the Vikings' offense was like fourth in yards at the end of the year. Their defense let them down because of injuries and whatnot. But yeah, they're happy with their offense. So it would take more than you think for the Vikings to trade him, and I guess that's their choice there. But yeah, they're going to roll with him. The Cowboys, I believe they'll get Dak Prescott. So basically what I have to do in this video is predict free agency, trades, in the draft. It's pretty tough here, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Dak, I think worst case scenario is franchise tagged. It'd be, I'm not going to say 0% chance he goes somewhere else. I'm not going to say that. I heard the Panthers could be interested. That sounds hilarious because a lot of teams will be interested, but I think he'll be back. I think worst case scenario, they franchise tag him so other teams can't get him. And we actually know that somewhat soon here at the franchise tag, or they'll sign him long term. Maybe ideal. Maybe they want to see him play on the injury. Yeah, more I'm talking, I'm thinking he's really going to be franchise tagged. So he'll be back on the Cowboys. Confident about that one. Daniel Jones, this one, maybe he shouldn't be back as the starting quarterback, but I think he will be. It becomes interesting too because no one's really talking about this one, and it's mainly because we think he'll be the starter for the Giants, But I think we need to start talking about it because we know Gettleman likes Daniel Jones and he wants to insist on him, but I don't know if the coaching staff does. They were kind of trying to make him a game manager to win games at times, and they just really didn't want him to throw the ball, and then. I don't know if the coaching staff really loves him, but do they have another option? Do they have another option right now? I guess that's the situation, and I'm sure he can improve. He's not going to change big time, though, at all. No quarterback ever does. So they're still in the market for a quarterback. I just don't think it's going to end up being this year. But, if a quarterback in the draft drops, they could be interested in Mac Jones. But even if he does, will they be the starter right away? I guess that's the question. I'm going to go with Daniel Jones with that. That's actually an interesting one. The Dolphins, I'm going to go Tua Tagovailoa. There's rumors that they can trade for Deshaun Watson. If they do, he's going to be their starter, obviously. Some people think they either should or could draft a quarterback third overall. I'm not going to say 0% chance, but I'm not going to. It's going to be not too far off from there. So I think Tua's their guy. A lot of upside. The thing with Tua is, they need better weapons at the receiver position. The offensive line can get better. They need a better play caller in there, which they should have. And we didn't see him throw the ball downfield, and that's, I don't. It's honestly not that much of a concern for me because, that's not something that you go from college to NFL where it's like all of a sudden you can't throw the ball or you don't want to throw the ball downfield. So it's not really a thing. We've seen him do it at Bama. I'm not really worried. I guess back of our minds, did the injury, that bad of an injury, affect his mind, I guess, that much? I don't think so, but maybe. I think he's got to be their guy. A lot of upside there. Can be a really good quarterback. Seattle's going Big Ben Roethlisberger. He'll be their starter again. Talk about him restructuring his deal. For that to be a major cap save, you need to actually take a pay cut, which he kind of said that. I guess he didn't technically say he'll take a pay cut. Restructure, pay cut, could be two different things. We'll see. Honestly, if you want my opinion, you can cut him and save $19 million. He's not the same quarterback anymore. You obviously have to have kind of a replacement in mind, because you can't just cut him and one magically appears. But I would consider that. I'm not saying do it, but I consider that, which I don't think they are going to consider that. I thought he was pretty limited. I guess having no run game kind of hurt him. But, I think he'll be the Steelers starter next year. Moving on to the lines, I think we expect it to be Jared Goff. They could still draft one, because it's what they're saying is they like Jared Goff, but nobody's going to come out and just say their plan for the draft. You will never see that. People take what teams say too seriously sometimes, and a lot of it might be true, but we don't know for sure. So they could have just got more trade wise and took Goff in. It feels like they like Goff. They turned down the Panthers deal with the 8th overall pick, so it feels like they like Goff, but who knows? They might have just taken that extra first round pick and just to take him, and they might want to get better in the draft. Who knows? I think. Myself, a lot of us think it's going to be Jared Goff for the Lions there. Next, the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, first overall pick. Maybe they surprise us all and they don't go Trevor Lawrence, but I think we're all expecting it to be him. Urban Meyer's going to take the best player available with those picks. I expect that's why he's there, to build the team because he understands the talent. So I think they'll take Trevor Lawrence, and I think the Jaguars starting quarterback week 1 will be Trevor Lawrence. So that's a pretty obvious one. We're starting to get to the interesting ones probably. Maybe not quite yet. Matt Ryan, I think a lot of us expect to be the Falcons starter. I think they should draft a quarterback. That doesn't mean I think that quarterback they draft should be a starter. I guess we could debate that at the time it happens. We'll see my thoughts. But, I fully expect them, if they draft one at 4 or not, I fully expect them to roll with Matt Ryan this year. I think we all do. There's some rumors they'll trade. None of that's going to happen, So I think he'll be their starter. I think it'll be in their best interest to take a quarterback for the future at 4. But we'll see if they do that. But again, either way, I think it'll be Matt Ryan. Broncos, Drew Lock. I think you can get better from Drew Lock. Yes, he can improve. He doesn't have that many reps under his belt. I did like him out of Missouri. I wasn't like in love, big time guy. He's going to be a Super Bowl. Wasn't really that high on him, but I thought he'd be a little better than what he showed last year. But he still has some time, some more reps to improve, I suppose. He has the arm strength, the big playability. But it feels like almost a Super Bowl roster. Maybe it is actually. So now is your window to try to go big time here at the quarterback. They tried to trade for Stafford. They didn't want to get rid of Locke though because they wanted him to be their future quarterback still. So there's not too many scenarios left where it's like, learn for 2 years under a guy like Stafford. There's not too many options out there right now like that. So that tells me that Drew Lock's just going to be their guy. If they draft one, Drew Lock still might be the starter unless somebody crazy drops to them. But I'm thinking Drew Lock. Next, Saints, Jameis Winston. It sounds like they want him back. We've seen Drew Brees tell Winston it's his team now. It was interesting they didn't start Winston when Breeze got hurt, but they kind of went with more of the experience of the offense with Taysom Hill. It kind of ended up being a positive in a way because Winston didn't get the money from any other team. Nobody wanted him last year. What all of a sudden is going to make you want him now? Maybe if a team's desperate. I think teams should want him. I think he's better than what people are kind of giving him credit for. He's got the explosive play ability, the big play ability. He threw for 5,000 yards, threw a lot of interceptions, but I think he'd be good with a good defense, to help him out, if those turnovers occur, which they will. But yeah, I think the Saints want him back. I don't know if there's a team out there that pays like big money, then the Saints won't get him back, and it's a possibility. But again, he sat pretty much all year, and nobody wanted to pay him last year. What all of a sudden it wouldn't make much sense, even though I would like it for some other teams. I do kind of like Winston. Is he going to go win a Super Bowl? Probably not. But I think the Saints will like him back cheap. They don't have a lot of money to spend, and it just kind of gets the feeling that they want him back. So interesting too. What if not that it was an option or even a thought. What if Winston played in a Bucs playoff game? He could have done what Breeze did, threw interceptions, but he would have had a lot more production. He actually had a downfield ball there in the trick play, so they actually might have had a little more offense, and that's kind of been the Saints' problem last couple of years. Breeze, still a very knowledgeable quarterback, Hall of Famer, but he was declining, and it was the same Saints offense every single year, just the same thing, nothing major downfield. People know it's the same offense. People know how to game plan, so you had Winston in that mix. And the Saints actually, and people are kind of thinking the Saints might get worse, but really they're getting different. Could it be better? Because we know they're gonna have a pretty good defense still. So that could be interesting. So I kind of want to see Winston back on the Saints here, see what happens there. The Eagles, I'm going Jalen Hurts. So this is where it gets interesting. I'm going Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts looked pretty good. When he came in there. The problem with him at Oklahoma, he's a little bit of a spaz sometimes. The footwork's really sloppy, just not staying calm in the pocket, and that's what the turnovers occurred. And that's kind of what I worried about him, but somehow he eliminated that. We've seen guys all the time eliminate those things going from college to the NFL. That's kind of their time to be that become more than a prospect. So he impressed me. He looked pretty good, a lot of upside here. Is he going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback? I guess we can't make that judgment now, but is he going to be that good? I guess that's the kind of the question where, maybe the Eagles could get better, but I like what I saw from Hurts. So I think they trade Wentz. Now brings up the question is Hurts their starter right now? Today, the 9th of February, they didn't trade Wentz yet. It could be happening soon. Could Wentz really be their backup right now? And they're trying to drive up price for who their backup would be. Pretty wild to think about. So maybe we'll never know. But I think Hurts going to be their guy. So where's Wentz going to be? I've been back and forth on this so much. I'm going to give him to the Bears right now. It sounds like the Bears are the front runner. There's a lot of people kind of tweeting out, he's going to the Bears and it's going to be for this. And that ended up being BS. And I was a little cautious to trust those people that tweeted out in the first place. That ended up being BS, but I do think the Bears, I trust that they probably have the most interest in most on the table, I guess, right now. We know the Colts are involved, and the Colts believe they can fix him, and that kind of makes me want to go Colts. He's got Frank Reich there. But the thing is, the Colts aren't really going to get desperate. They're interested, but they're not in the business of getting desperate and trading away too much away. Ballard even said, they're not about to get desperate for a quarterback right now. They have too many other questions, is what he said. And they like their process, their philosophy so far. So overvaluing Wentz it'd almost be like contradicting. It would be very confusing to me. The Bears kind of showed they can get desperate. Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, mainly Ryan Pace. This is it for him, and that's kind of what happens when you hang on to a guy extra year too long, and he knows this is it. He's done after this, unless he figures out. So he's gonna, they try to trade more than a first for Stafford, So what I decided is they're definitely more likely to get desperate. So that's why I predicted Wentz to the Bears. Other teams are interested. There's more than just those two teams, so I guess that's interesting. we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to overspend for him. I think the Bears are more desperate than the Colts. That's why I decided them. The Jets, I'm going to go Zach Wilson. I think it's a good fit in that, LaFleur's offense, which is a Shanahan-style offense. Zach Wilson's really good. He's really good. A lot of upside. The Jets got to take him second overall. I think they'll do that. I don't think they're going to insist on Darnold. I really don't think so. For their sake, I really hope not. I really hope they don't because, you get a guy like Wilson here. I think that's what they do. Trades can obviously, draft day trades obviously could shake some things up. Niners, a tough one too. I'm going to go Jimmy Garoppolo, even though it feels like they don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. They try to get Stafford. They're doing their homework on other guys. They could be one calling for Wentz, but is Wentz going to be that much different than, there's a lot of more risk. He has. The ceiling is definitely higher than Jimmy Garoppolo at Wentz, but there's so much risk there. They've been drafting pretty good. I don't know. And I think there's just not too many other options. They want to win now. They want to win now, or they're not going to roll into the season with. Or I don't think with the rookie. They could draft one, but I don't think they're going to roll into the season starting with the rookie. It's tough. I was really feeling Garoppolo back to the Patriots for a while. And now all of a sudden, I was almost insisting on that, but now I'm kind of went cold on that. Because I don't know if the Patriots would trade what the Niners would want. I don't know if they traded him away in the first place. I don't know. It's tough because the Niners, that's why this is a tough video. The Niners it feels like they don't want Garoppolo, but they're also not just going to roll with somebody worse or more of a project. Garoppolo did go to the Super Bowl. He played pretty damn well that year. He did go to the Super Bowl. It was a damn complete team, really, really complete team. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting one for sure. We'll see if they'll make a big time move. They can go for Derek Carr. We're going to talk about him a little bit. His names come up. We'll see. In the Patriots, I want Mac Jones. I feel like they don't want a project, but I think Mac Jones is the most knowledgeable quarterback, but maybe one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks. Is he going to be the best rookie quarterback? Not what I'm saying. But I can see them liking Mac Jones, and they wanted kind of a veteran, but they're missing out on their chances. And I think trading for a guy like Wentz or Garoppolo is even more of a gamble than going for a guy like Mac Jones. So he could drop to them. They may have to trade up a little bit. I think they'll like him, though. So, this is bold. A lot of these are bold. I went really bold. I didn't even see it yet. But yeah, I'm going to go Mac Jones, the Patriots. And again, we do a million mock drafts. Things come up, rumors, things I trust, things I don't trust. So I change my mind on things like this a lot. So we'll see. Colts. I don't want really this to happen for the Colts, but it might. So I'm going to go Sam Darnold. I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy. I think he can improve with a better team, better coaching staff, sure, but he would have to improve by an insane amount. He has some bad traits about him. Traits don't really change or develop. The people that are on Darnold's side, I think they're basing it off of age and that he in a better system. You're basically explaining Josh Rosen at the same time. So do you value Josh Rosen that high? Pretty contradicting if you say opposite. So maybe you just like Darnold a little more, but yeah, this would make no sense to me. I would rather go with Eason. There's really no point to this. I would much rather go Eason, and I don't know if Eason's going to be anything special, but yeah, they're in on Wentz. They're not going to get desperate. So I think Wentz will go to a more desperate team, and then they'll end up kind of getting desperate, but not spending, that desperate amount, I don't think. They could end up with Darnold. It doesn't make much sense to me, and I really, for their sake, don't want them to do this, but the latest from what I've heard is it's actually a strong possibility. We'll see, though. It's not one I'm super confident about, like a lot of these ones down here. I'm going to go Marcus Mariota, the Washington football team. I think I kind of thought about the Patriots, too. The Patriots want to go him. I don't know if they really like that Cam Newton-style offense, somewhat similar. I think there's more to a Mariota offense. You can run a little play action, a little more than Cam Newton. Cam Newton just doesn't have the arm anymore because the injuries build up. But, Mariota, the small sample size we saw, it shows he can, do more than he's more than just like a running quarterback, and he's a pretty damn good running quarterback. I think that's kind of Scott Turner, what the style of quarterback they kind of want. It's kind of like a Heineke, but, more experienced, probably better, even though Heineke looked pretty good in the playoff game. But let's be honest, Mariota's probably better. This would probably be a trade. He's a $10 million cap hit. The Raiders are going to look to trade him. Do they trade both Carr and Mariota? Do they trade one? I think it's very likely they trade one. Like almost 100% they're going to trade one of those guys at least. They could trade both. I like him in Washington, though. Again, the Patriots I like as well. I like Washington, though, for them. Those fans, they're really hot. I see a million Washington football team Photoshop Sean Watson, in their jersey. It's just not going to happen, so it's unfortunate that you get, a lesser of a player, but I kind of like the fit. And they don't have too many options at this point either. They don't have too many options. So this might be one of the better of the options here, especially when they're holding the 19th pick. Could they trade up, maybe get better than Mariota, even as a rookie? So who knows? And then we'll go the Texans. I got Deshaun Watson. I think maybe he won't start for them week 1. Maybe he'll continue to hold out, but they don't want to trade him. I'm not going to say 0% chance they trade him, but they do not want to trade him, and they should feel that way. And then it comes down to, he's going to hold out, though. Do we have to trade him? I think they could play hardball. If it's in his contract, we get fined a ton of money if he sits out, and I think it could get interesting at that point where, yeah, they'll kind of call his bluff, I guess, and they'll continue to play hardball. Another thing that tells me, all these teams, like the Panthers, we know for a fact that the Panthers called the Texans about Deshaun Watson, and we know that the Texans are saying we don't want to trade him. So we know teams, it's at least one team that we know for sure, the Panthers. We know a lot of teams called. We don't know exactly what teams. We have an idea, a very good idea. You can take a very good educated guess. We know those teams. We'll use the Panthers for an example. This is just one example. Panthers called them. Texans told them no, they're not trading them. And the Panthers may think, all right, let's just hold out here. They're eventually going to trade him. That's what you guys out there are thinking. But the Panthers went ahead and had a deal in place for Matthew Stafford. If they really thought there was a shot they would get Watson, they wouldn't just instantly go all in on Matthew Stafford and then get Matthew Stafford. Then a month, not even whatever later, oh, we could have got Deshaun Watson. No, they're pretty confident the Texans aren't going to trade him. It's pretty obvious at this point. So I'm not going to say they will. There's no shot they're going to trade him. It might come up. He may actually take those fines. I don't know. If they do trade him, it's not going to be anytime soon, I don't think. I think he loves the game too much. I like his character. I don't think he's going to hold out. He's going to hold out for the offseason. When it comes down to week 1 playing, I just see Deshaun Watson out there for his team. We'll see. It is a messy situation. Again, I'm not completely ruling it out. Here's where I get weird. If you've been doing your homework, 2 teams are left, and I'm well aware I got pretty damn bold here. I'm well aware. Something I'm feeling, and probably something I'll change my mind on. I guess that's a flaw of mine here. I'm changing things like this. Predictions, whether it comes to teams and seasons, I stay pretty firm on that. I will not change my mind on those things, but things like this, I got pretty crazy here. We're going to go Derek Carr to the Panthers. The Raiders like Derek Carr. He had a really good season. Once again, though, he didn't really play bad, but at all, not even close to bad, but he was playing really good, like easily a top 10 quarterback first half of the year. And that kind of reminded me of last year as well. And then it kind of declined a little bit as the year goes on. And he throws the ball away too easy at times. That's something I don't like about him. He is a good, accurate quarterback, but what I'm saying is, maybe they feel like they could get better. And the right price could send Derek Carr. I really think that. They like Derek Carr. He's a really good quarterback. I think he'd be phenomenal on the Panthers with those weapons. But my point is, I think the Raiders, for the right price, it'd probably be more than what you out there would value Derek Carr. See what Stafford went for? In this scenario, I think it would take the 8th overall pick plus something else. 2nd round pick, maybe. They want 2 first, but if it's an 8th and a 2nd, the Raiders could do that. They might do that. They feel maybe they roll at Mariota. I think he probably gets traded. This is definitely one I'm not super confident about. Panthers, they were in on Watson. Texans told them, we just talked about that. Texans told them they don't want to trade. They had an offer ready for Stafford. They were getting his medicals, and they were ready to make a deal. The Rams swooped in with a better offer. Panthers were ready to make a deal. So why wouldn't they be in on a guy like Derek Carr? Why wouldn't they be willing to offer that plus more because Derek Carr is younger, has less injury concern than Stafford? I think he's a fit. I think with those weapons, whether it's running back, receiver, with that improving defense, I think that's a great coaching staff, great offensive mind out there with Joe Brady and Matt Rule because he coaches both sides of the ball. I think they'll be in very heavily in this. And they might be able to make that offer that the Raiders take. So, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure. It's something I'm kind of feeling, and it would make sense because of everything I just explained. So who the hell the Raiders quarterback going to be? I had Mariota go to the Washington football team. They get the 8th overall pick. Some quarterback that I think might drop a little bit because I think teams will focus on maybe offensive line or another quarterback. I think a guy like Justin Fields could drop a little bit, and the Raiders might, they can get him at 8. I think they'll like him a lot too. I think Gruden will like him some Justin Fields. They might be able to move up a little bit to make sure they get him. I went wild here. Let's be honest. It's a little wild, but we had to do it in this video. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see. This would be something if this happened. Derek Carr, the Panthers, Raiders get a guy like Justin Fields. I'm starting to think Trey Lance could go a little earlier than him, so maybe that's why it pushes him back. Mac Jones could even go a little earlier than expected. So we'll see. The Raiders aren't hanging up the phone for a Carr, apparently. They said 2 firsts could do it. I think the Panthers having that 8th pick, offering some more. They were already willing to do it for Stafford. Why not the younger, somewhat similar style quarterback, younger, healthier guy like Carr? I think the Panthers probably have already called. They could be in on that. Some teams just don't want a rookie quarterback. They want to win right now. And maybe that's the Raiders' problem too. But the Raiders, they got a lot of work to do on defense. They got a lot of work to do. They need to add more receivers. Sounds like Aguilar. I don't know if they want him back. I don't know if he wants to go back. I don't know what that situation is. They got some tough cuts to make. They're on negative cap. They can get way under the cap, but they make some tough cuts. So will this team win now anyways? It can maybe make the playoffs, but there's a ceiling, I think. So maybe they want to go with a guy like Justin Fields, who I think could be – it sets you back a little bit as a rookie quarterback, but I think it's a quick turnaround here. Very quick. So we'll see if it actually happens. This is definitely a wild one here. We got all kinds of predictions, grade every single free agency signing, everything. We got everything here for the offseason in general, the draft, free agency. We got you covered here and on the Twitter. Go follow that, link in the description, comments. Smash that like button. Subscribe, turn notifications on. All that would be much appreciated. It would help us out a bunch. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.